David Gergen. He's at the museum at CNN's Washington Bureau by Clarence Jones. And here with me right now, out in the cold on the Mall, is Farai Shideh, the journalist, to talk about a subject that is a thorny one, race and politics. It's nice to have you all. And David, let's start with you. It was interesting to read in the Washington Post a couple of days ago. They talked about how Washington would change. People couldn't have all white parties anymore because there was a black president, and that meant everything in D.C. was going to change. What literally do you think changes in Washington, D.C. now that Obama's in office?
Well, one thing that changes right tomorrow, and that is we've had mostly white inaugurations in the past. This is not going to be one. This is going to be just on the streets of Washington now. You see whites, of course, but you see so many more blacks than we've ever had here before, and you see so many more Asians and international folks. Jesse Jackson would have called it the Rainbow Coalition that has come here. But I think there's, even in the sense with a sense of hope and optimism, there's also a sense that we've still got a long way to go. This is a time for celebration, not for self-congratulation. We still have an America where the black unemployment rate is twice that of whites. The black infant mortality rate is twice that of whites. Black women are incarcerated at 3.5 times that of white women. 1 in 9 young black Americans between the ages of 20 and 34 is in jail or prison today. There are more young black Americans, males, in jails than are in college. So we have a long, long way to go, Soledad.
Farai, you have said in the past that the question of whether the nation's ready for a black president was really more like, was the nation ready for this black president in these times? What do you mean by those specific words?
It's not as if every black person is the same. And in many ways, that's been the narrative of this entire election, which is to see the individuality, like with the special that you did, that we are all of many different types. And the type that Mr. Obama is intentional. He is a planner. This man has been ready, not just since day one, for day one. He was ready way beforehand. And I think something that people have often thought is, well, is it by accident that this handsome young guy stumbled into power? Absolutely not. It's very clear through his books and other aspects of what he's done that he is the architect of his own destiny.
Well, he was ambitious, but at the same time, doesn't society, and maybe we'll throw this to Clarence Jones, because you, sir, as a close associate of Dr. King, I mean, doesn't society also have to be ready? It can't sort of just be one side ready, but the other side not ready?
Well, there's no question about that. Is that one of the great contributions of Dr. King is that he had literally transformed the America during the 20th century, and that with all due respect to Obama's extraordinary talents and capabilities, nevertheless it took someone of the stature and the leadership of Dr. King to literally transform America by forcing America to confront its conscience between the contradiction of the practices of racism and segregation and the reality. The reality of the practices of segregation and what was enshrined in our Declaration of Independence. So that yes, David Gergen ticked off a lot of things which are in fact characteristics of part of the black community today. We are at a point of celebration. And part of that celebration, of course, is the celebration of the pursuit of excellence. That's what Obama represents, among other things. November 4th, 2008.
Let me ask the question.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I want to bring David Gergen in, and you referenced him. I want to bring him in because
Yes.
Barack Obama was sort of forced to have a conversation on race when there was all that crisis about
That's
Reverend
correct.
Wright. He had to get up and make a really quite remarkable, I thought, speech about race. But David, I'm curious to know, where does that conversation go? I mean, is he done? Is it, okay, I made my speech on race, it was a good one, I'm done, we don't talk about it anymore? Or what does he have to say next?
No, I don't think, by the way, we should have to leave all of this to Barack Obama. It seems to me what he has done has encouraged us to now, through television, through other kinds of forums, to have serious conversations among all Americans about race. I think the Obama election brought during the fall some of the most interesting conversations among white families about race within their own families. I mean, I had people come up to me, white person come up to me and said, I never knew my brother-in-law was a racist. And it was because for the first time people were talking openly and honestly. We need to do that more across races. And we ought to do that among ourselves. We ought to, CNN can play a role in that. Not look to Barack Obama to do this alone. Will he come back and address the issue of race as he goes along? Yes. But I think it's important on an evening like this to remember that he and Dr. Martin Luther King, both heroic figures. One was a civil rights leader. Barack Obama has not been elected as a civil rights leader, but as president of all the people. Is civil rights a critical part of that? Absolutely. But he has a broader set of responsibilities than Dr. King had. Dr. King brought us a long way. Barack Obama has to fill out more of the picture.
And if I may also say,
Go ahead, Clarence.
Yes, Dr. King, I think what we should look at is the fact that he not only paved the way, but with someone with the extraordinary talents of a Barack Obama, is that November 4th was just as much a celebration of Obama's talents as it was about the American experience. I think that November 4th is that every American could, look in the mirror and say, we have something to celebrate, because what his election reflects is really the majesty of America. It reflects the confidence and the belief that Dr. King had in this country. He had an abiding belief in the good faith and genuineness and decency of Americans. And of course, he had to use a creative, yes. I'm sorry.
Well, Soledad, no, thank you. I was just thinking that this is really, part of this is about extending the collective memory of Americans. We're not known for our collective memory.
Right.
And today has been an opportunity, I think, to expand that memory a little bit. For Aisha Day and Clarence Jones and David Gergen joining us. Thanks so much.